on, G-Wood.
Dag. Winky lost, but he sure went out like a winner. The after party is going to be crazy. What y'all think?
I don't know, judging by the still shot in back of us, look like Winky. He lost one, but he won one at the same time. In case y'all don't know what we talking about, did y'all see what was on his arm piece after the post-fight interview?
Right.
Right there. Guard Your Girl Boxing. Best boxing show on the planet. Shout out to 97 Rough for having the GYGB panel come on the radio station. We had a chance to talk to Timothy Bradley. If not, if you didn't hear it, you can listen to it on podcast. What's my dude website?
There will be blood boxing.
There will be bloodboxing.com. Check that. Check my dude 97 Rough out. Me and Ride It Down there.
It's Solarplex Promotions.
Solarplex. There we go. All right, let's get right into it, man. It's like 1 in the morning. GYGB doing what it do. Let's get it cracking. Paul Williams, Winky Wright at the 160-pound limit, which was essentially a junior middleweight fight because neither one of them, in the weigh-in on Friday came in at 160 pounds.
Right.
Who want to spark it off?
Well, just as I predicted, I said Winky would get beat up, and sure enough, Winky did. He had a couple of moments early on in the first round. He caught Paul with that right hand that Paul is so susceptible to. And then you saw it again. What was it, around, I think it was around 3. And he hit Paul with a couple right hands. But for the most part, Winky just got outclassed. Paul is just a monster. It was giving him angles, beating them all in his head.
Right.
And I had never, ever heard a crowd that was so pro-Winky in my life.
I didn't know Winky had that many fans, and it's a shame they didn't come out early on in his career.
Right.
But you know how that go, you know what I mean? Shout out to Sleep. Shout out to Doc. Sleep is actually out there in Vegas. He was watching the fight. He said it was a pro-Winky crowd. But Ride or Die, what did you see in the fight, my dude?
Well, it's funny because I
other than Winky Chick, what did you see in the fight?
Well, it's funny because I predicted that Paul would win, but I felt as though Winky would give him some trouble.
Right.
I felt like Winky had more in his bag in terms of experience to dig from than Paul.
Right.
But Paul just basically smothered Winky.
Right.
I call it, he made it rain on Paul.
Made it rain. We should have opened the show up with Lil Wayne, Make It Rain. Yeah.
And he got drenched, he was just hitting him with combos. He couldn't really establish any type of rhythm.
Right.
And he actually
Two fights in a row now, not to cut you off, that he couldn't establish a rhythm now because of the Bernard fight as well.
Yep. And it was just like he just smothering Winky. Winky just couldn't do anything. He actually made Winky fight a different type of fight than I expected. But, Paul is a very dangerous guy from 147 on up. This guy,
when you say up, how far up you talking?
I even asked Mike. This might seem stupid. I asked Mike, I said, who do you think will win between Paul and Chad Dawson in the catch weight?
Oh, no, that's my prediction, but I'll get into that later. Go ahead.
But, I just think that, anybody from 147 to 160, is not safe right now. They're not safe.
Yeah, it's crazy. Shout out to my tire fanatics out there. If Winky Wright was a tire, he'd be Goodyears, and Paul Williams was a tire, he'd be Yokohama Run Flats. Winky just looked like a flat tire out there, and some of the signs showed in the Bernard fight, and I don't want to diminish Paul win because I think Paul beats him at any stage of Winky's career because of the way Winky fights. Winky has to dictate the fight with his jab,
yeah, exactly.
And that's how he sets up those counter right hands. What Paul did is like what we all predicted. He kept that heat on him, and Winky never could get into a rhythm. He never could fight. I thought Paul didn't get. Now he got found with some right hands, but I thought he rolled with some punches tonight. We seen him bob and weave a little bit. This guy just throw punches from all these different angles, and the work rate. Me and Big Mike had a discussion. We said, what would you rather have, power or work rate? And I personally, I think I would rather have work rate because work rate, you can tire your opponent out, a la Joe Kawasaki, what he does a lot, Antonio Margarito, but now that might be a little tainted. But Paul, man, he just lets his hands go. Winky couldn't establish that jab. I was wrong in my prediction. I said Paul would hit a lot of gloves and elbows, which happened early on. But as the fight progressed, man, I don't know a fighter today that can nullify that pace. Could keep up with that pace. The question is, who can nullify Paul Williams' pace. Now,
you know what I think? I think it's somebody with power.
You think it's somebody
I
with
think it's
power?
some power.
But
it's
how
gonna
do
have
you?
to be somebody. It's gonna have to be someone on the line of like a Kelly Pavic, which Paul outworks and runs circles around him.
Right.
But you don't know how Paul's gonna fight. You know, with some serious power, some serious heat on him. You know what I mean?
Now, let me ask you this. This is either one of y'all. Like that's a good point you brought up. Paul Williams, middleweight, whatever. I mean, Kelly Pavlik. But let's be honest, Kelly Pavlik has a basic 1-2. He's going to be found very easily for Paul.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And potentially that's a fight Paul might can get a knockout in because, you know, shot as Winky may have looked tonight, he's a defensive fighter, which Paul Pavlik is not. Now, the guy I could see giving Paul some potential problems is Arthur Abraham.
That's what I was
You know what I'm saying?
too.
Because he's a boxer.
I think he's the least person to give Paul problems.
I think
Big Mike, you know. And he's from Germany.
I think Arthur Abraham definitely gives Paul Williams some problems.
Right.
But the thing we got to remember too, just going back to that fight, is have we ever seen Winky hit this much before?
That's the thing. Like I never saw Winky get tagged. I mean, Paul throwing right crosses from his ankles. I mean, this dude was just throwing punches from all over the place, man. I never seen a fighter that tall. Well, you see some of the little guys that can do that, but he's a freak. We said it. Randy Moss, LeBron James. You know, he fits in that category, man. You know, the con with Paul Williams is, like I said, he gives his height up, as you always allude to, Big Mike. And, you know, he's kind of a sucker for a right hand. But, you know, until he's proven that, I mean, the Quintana fight, you know, he got to prove that was a fluke. The second fight, he walked right through him. Man, this guy, I can't see many guys wanting to fight Paul Williams. I'm going to be honest, man.
And then on top of that, the other thing you got to watch out for is that Paul, from the first to the 12th round, there's no difference in his stamina. It is like the same. You know, like he really and truly
come out fresh. He does a lot of movement while he holding his hands, but you know, the kid, man, he's a freak, man. They just don't make boxers like him. You know, so who do you want to see him in the ring with next, or what division? Because he's a new Henry.
I want to see him fight Pavlik as well. I mean, because you know, I mean, I think like you said that even though people want to say like Joshua Clyde is the most feared man. If he were to fight Joshua Clyde, I think the fight,
Winky Wright fight.
It would be another fight like this.
Winky. He's holding his hands, not being busy.
Shane Mosley don't want none.
No.
He just too, I mean, honestly.
Cotto's too hittable.
Cotto's
too hittable for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I agree with y'all. Like, the fighter, the guy that's going to beat Paul Williams, you know, first of all, you're going to have to establish jabs to kind of nullify that work rate, and you got to have some pop so he can kind of have some respect in it. Because obviously he didn't respect Winky. He just walked right into punches, you know. So, you know, props to Paul, man. You know, he's climbing up that pound-for-pound ladder, you know, and we'll see what happens. You know, Pavlik is, you know, still sponsoring for Campbell Soup, beating up on fighting tomato cans, you know, but I heard he's in some discussion to fight Arthur Abraham in the fall. I believe it when I see it.
Yeah, he's supposed to fight Sergio Moore first.
Right. All right, on the undercard, let's touch on that real quick. Chris Arreola, Jamil Mcline.
That's the battle of the whales.
The battle of the whales. Shout out to SeaWorld. You know what I mean? I don't really have a lot of opinions on the fight. It was what it was. Like I said on the 97 Rough show, I think Jamil Mcline got about 6 minutes per fight, and that's pretty much what he gave. And, you know, Arreola got power in both hands. You know, y'all think, you know, I think Hay will give him some trouble. I disagree. I think he gets smashed by either one of the Klitschko's, but, you know,
I want to see. That's something I want to see.
What, him and Hay?
No, I want to see Arreola versus one of the Klitschko's.
Right. But what about...
Because, like they said, the Klitschko's aren't used to a lot of aggression. And Chris Arreola brings a lot of aggression and brings a lot of pressure. And it can make one of the Klitschko's be uncomfortable.
The 1-2 will finally.
He's not going to sit there and do that robot shot.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
That's not going to work with Arreola.
Right, I'm telling you.
Personally, I think anybody with a jab can get Chris Arreola.
My man, the dude was finding him.
Right.
The Travis.
Travis
Walker. Yeah. He was finding him with the 1-2.
And you know, again.
But he adjusts. He found a way to knock them both out.
But I would say this.
Klitschko's not going to sit there and just do this all day and just expect to get away with it.
Right.
I think it's going to be an interesting fight.
That's enough of that. We spent too much time talking about that trash of a fight. Let's talk about some other news real quick. Miguel Cotto and his uncle.
Yeah.
So what's really good? What's going on with that, Rada Das? You've been close to that situation.
It seems like you know, Top Rank, man, it just seems like anybody in the Bob Aaron, man, you coming in with your family, man. Y'all leave divorced, man. Y'all leave hating each other. I mean, first Floyd's and Floyd Sr. and now, you know, Cotto and Evangelista. I mean, I really don't know what to say about that. I heard that his cut man is now supposed to be running his corner now.
Right.
They need to basically get that situation under lock and key because, you know, they need to have a steady and strategic game plan going to fight someone as, you know, crafty as Clotty. I don't think now is the time to have any type of divorce. You need to be settled, trying to work on the game plan. You know, especially Cotto. I mean, he had an okay showing against Jennings, but it's really not a test to see where you are to face someone as dangerous as Joshua Clotty.
Right.
So
I agree.
So, you know, honestly, you know, we got to see how this whole thing works out for him, you know, but it is, you know, there's nothing new. We knew that basically he was having problems in his camp.
Right. So there you have it, man. Cotto, like he getting a new trainer, new promotion. Guard your girl boxing, man. We out.